Hello, my people. How are you doing? Let me hope you are doing fine. So let me jump straight into the video. So this video is to verify Bob Lazar's claims of reverse engineering UFO crafts. As you stated, let's observe the science and see if the science adds up. If the science adds up, this video is done to verify if Bob Lazar is telling the truth. We are going to look into the science of everything, how atoms work, and we see if Bob Lazar is telling the truth. Now, this review that verifies Bob Lazar's UFO reactor concept technology. Now let's go. Bob Lazar states that the UFO reactor required a fuel source, and he mentioned that that was a stable version of a heavy element 115 discovered in 2003. Remember, Bob Lazar was claiming of reverse engineering UFO crafts in 1980 something, 1989 when he came out. He said he joined in 1988 and he was reverse engineering spacecrafts, UFO spacecrafts. So this element, now when it was the unstable version, was Moscovium, which was discovered in 2003, which was 115, which is Moscovium. But Moscovium is this unstable version of 115. So he claims element 115, the stable version, when they put it into the reactor, it is hit with with protons. The protons can be formed from hydrogen. That's a take. When you strip away the electrons, you remain with protons, which are from hydrogens. So which increases its atomic mass to or number to 116, which makes it unstable and guided down the tube and reacts with the gas to release 100% energy, which is electricity. But here is the verification that makes Bob Lazar's concept real technology. Apart from the UFO claims, actually when element 15 is made unstable by using protons, it decays so fast. You see that? It decays so fast. And note, this is something to note. And it releases high energy, which is like, because it is heavier than, remember, 100 grams of uranium. Let me compare uranium, and has atomic number of 92. 100 grams of uranium, unstable element, it can power a house for 3 years, producing about 24 million, just from 100 grams, producing 24 million kilowatts of electricity. Imagine that power. Note that when you correct, a lot of heat is given off energy because of electrostatic forces and whatever. I'm going to explain everything here. Note, correcting a stable heavy element with protons frequently renders it unstable. Adding a proton inherently increases the atomic number, altering its neutron to proton ratio and causing severe electrostatic repulsion. You see, causing severe electrostatic repulsion. This disrupts the delicate balance kept by the strong nuclear force, forcing the atom to undergo radioactive decay or nuclear fission to achieve a stable state. That's when tremendous energy is produced. The energy. So now let's go here. Let's compare. Now let's talk about lightning. Lightning is the ultimate example of electrostatic discharge, driven by massive electrical potential differences. Charges accumulate within the storm clouds until the electric field becomes so intense that the insulating air breaks down. Remember, Bob Lazar said the craft when the spacecraft was in lift, it gave off a bluish discharge, indicating uh, a, indicating high voltage. That's the example of electrostatic forces acting there, with reacting with the air particles. And even sometimes when it flies at night, it gives these air particles give off a glow when they are exposed to high voltage. There's electro differences there. So let's go into the first of all in the nuclear fission of the atom. Nuclear fission is a process of forcing two light atom nuclei together to form a single heavier nucleus. Because the combined mass of the resulting nucleus is slightly less than the sum of the original, the missing mass is converted directly into massive amounts of energy. Example: on Earth, the most efficient fusion reaction uses two heavy isotopes of hydrogen, deuterium and tritium. When these isotopes fuse, they create a helium nucleus and high energy neutron. This high speed neutron escapes the magnetic traps holding the plasma and collides with the surrounding reactor walls, generating intense heat. This heat can then be used to boil water, create steam and electricity. Now let's go to the counterpart, the sister, nuclear fission. Nuclear fission produces energy when a heavy unstable atom is split into two smaller atoms by a stray neutron. That means when you get uranium and you strike it with a neutron, you can split it into different small atoms, and you have tremendous energy. So element 116, as Bob Lazar stated, when element 115 is struck with the proton, it converts to unstable version of element 116. Element 116 is livermorium. So an extremely radioactive and synthetic super heavy element. It does not occur naturally and is only produced in a laboratory environment by bombarding calcium targets with calcium ions. So guys, are you adding up? I'm gonna explain all the concepts that are going to relate to Bob Lazar's science of the spacecraft that he claims he worked on. Now let's go to Seebeck effect. These are also, I have collected a lot of concepts for you guys to add up and see if the science makes sense of the craft Bob Lazar is describing. Seebeck effect, a thermoelectric phenomenon where a temperature difference across two different electrical conductors or semiconductor creates a voltage. When one end heated, electrons diffuse towards the colder and building up electrical potential. Note, a single proton induced fission. So you know, the other Seebeck effect is used in space rovers, like on Mars. Those are on Mars to produce electricity for longer periods of time without recharging, using radioactive elements. So remember, they give off immense heat when they decay. So note, a single proton induced fission event on a heavy element can release roughly 200 million electron volts of energy. Wow. Why protons are tricky? Protons are tricky. Well, it works. Hitting a heavy element with protons is incredibly difficult because protons are positively charged. They face a powerful repulsive force. And from the target's nucleus to get a reaction, it must be excited to very high speeds in a particle accelerator. So neutron versus protons. This is why neutrons are predominantly used in nuclear reactors. Because neutrons lack a charge, they don't experience electromagnetic repulsion and can easily slip into a nucleus at room temperature. So we are verifying Bob Lazar. It says that a proton is the one is used in the reactor to react with the element 115. We are verifying this. So now Bob Lazar states that there is a gas that reacts with the unstable version of element 115 after it has been bombarded with a proton. So for me, I have made my research and I have found a gas called acetylene. It is ACETYLENE. Acetylene gas. This gas can decompose and burn explosively on its own without oxygen, and it can and is the most combustive gas. It can even explode. It can burn as long as it has a heat source. Remember, this radioactive, when they are bombarded, they produce heat. Maybe this is the gas produces the heat and produces high energy or high levels of heat. However, alkane is uniquely and highly dangerous because it can undergo explosive decomposition without any oxygen. Alkane is a highly versatile colorless gas. It is primarily used in acetylene welding, cutting, and blazing of metals. You see, so as guys you have seen, and now we don't know how the craft Bob Lazar described converts 100% of that heat into electricity, because this craft might be using electrostatic energy and electromagnetism. And it might be working because of these amplifiers he was stating that are inside the craft. They have the way they say when the amplifier post-faces, it can distort the bubble which was around the craft. So this energy, it's all about electromagnetism, I think. So this energy, when they go around, even the ship itself, it is made of materials that conduct and contribute to the propulsion. Whereas these amplifiers, they are the guides. Let me say the steering wheels, or the navigation. But let me say the navigation of the craft, which they can direct to any point they want to go, either in the universe or anywhere. So this makes more sense. Yes, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, my people. I'll keep posting. This is you can make your own schedule. This actually I have not verified if it is true, but if that's the science, because this gas can burn when an atom, let me say, of element 115 is the stable version is bombarded with the let me say with that proton. Maybe it produces tremendous heat than the ones we have here on Earth, than uranium or whatever, and this heat can actually be converted into high voltage 100% and used by the craft to navigate itself. So thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, my people.